Happy Fantasy Friday. This is the Banner and Bookmarks podcast. We are Lindsay,
Kelly,
and Catherine, and we are three book besties diving into romantasy with unhinged theories and a bit of spice.
this is episode 2 of a 6-episode series covering Brimstone by Callie Hart. And today we are covering chapters 9 through 19. And there will be spoilers. We will be finding clues, making connections, and theorizing all things fae and alchemy.
So pour yourself a drink, come escape reality with us, and let's talk about books.
Let's start off by summarizing today's set of chapters, which is chapters 9 through 19. Lindsay, why don't you get us started?
Chapter 9, Hidden. Ceres goes to visit Everlane, who is still not waken up, and notices that Renfis has barely left her side. Ceres begins to speak with her, but is interrupted by some quicksilver that is hidden in Everlane's earrings. Ceres awakens it, and the spirit of Kingfisher's dead mother Adina speaks through Everlane's body. She tells Ceres that she needs to go to the library and find a book that is hidden among the stars. She warns her that this book is the only way to stop the rot from spreading. She also tells her that she must seal her alchemist runes, and they will start to sear her skin. Kingfisher rushes into the door, asking his mate why she is screaming his dead mother's name. Valid question.
Fair. It's okay. Chapter 10, Rot. The whole crew is gathered in Kalish's library discussing what just happened. Ceres and Kingfisher decide it is time to tell them the story of Zareth that happened at the end of Book 1, and they all start to piece together what the rot could mean for all of the land. They also come to the realization they need to have a contingency plan to get everyone out of the realm. For this plan, Ceres needs to start making relics for literally everyone. And Kingfisher and Carrion must go to Zulvarin to get enough silver to do it. And boys trip.
Road trip. Chapter 11, Fool's Paradise. After Kingfisher and Carrion go through the portal to Zulvarin, Ceres and Lorith begin their training. After he pops Ceres's dislocated shoulder back into place, they decide it's time to go have a drink at a pub called the Fool's Paradise. Unfortunately, Lorith didn't pay his bill about 600 years ago, and the bar owners had to step in and settle the exchange. The bar's unexpected owner? Taladeus.
Chapter 12, Tal. In his office, Taladeus and Ceres start to have a conversation, but they are quickly distracted by the glowing and burning alchemical runes on Ceres's hands. She informs him about her conversation with Adina, and Taladeus ruminates that she may have access to more magic than she realizes. He asks her if she would be okay with him publicly severing their bond, and she says absolutely yes, please.
Chapter 13, Silver City. Carrion and Kingfisher emerge from the Quicksilver pool in Madra's palace and directly into a heap of trouble. Guards start to chase them, and after using Kingfisher's shadows to fight most of them, Kingfisher and Carrion jump out of a window and into the market below. Kingfisher glamours them so they appear more human. Carrion tells Kingfisher they are going to visit his own bank, that he has plenty of silver there. He's guessing that after he left, his business partner had the locks changed, so they need to stop at Calais first to meet with a vault breaker.
Chapter 14, Blood in the Milk. Taladeus and Ceres go to the library and meet with Alget, the Lord of Midnight and Keeper of Records. Tal leaves, and Alget agrees to share her alchemical texts in exchange for 5 drops of Ceres's blood to feed her shadow cat, Guru. When Alget leaves to retrieve the book, Ceres is attacked by a dark-haired vampire male. During their fight, Ceres's runes start to glow again, and she accidentally blasts a hole in the side of Amentraeus. Whoops, Alget is going to be pissed at you.
Chapter 15, Voreth. Kingfisher and Carrion question the vault breaker, Voreth Shaw, and he agrees to lead them to the place where Carrion's stash has been moved. Kingfisher can tell that something is off, but they follow him. Too late, Kingfisher realizes what is wrong. He has led them to his master, a demon named Joshin.
Chapter 16, The Blood. Algat is pissed at Saris, not only because she blasted a hole in the library, but because she let the shadow cat out in the process. He's an indoor cat only. They have the male that attacked Saris chained up, and Lorith comes in. With tears in his eyes, he greets his old friend and former brother, Foley.
Chapter 17, The Dark Door. Thousands of scorpions start stinging Carrion and Kingfisher, but Kingfisher knows what he must do to stop it. He needs sunlight, so he begins slamming his shadow-wrapped fist against the wall in order to let in the light of the two Zilvaran suns. The demon, Joshin, torments Kingfisher and Carrion with visions of dead loved ones. Luckily, Kingfisher sees right through it and blasts a hole in the wall. Carrion snaps Vorath Shaw's neck, but the demon has already stung the female too many times. They need an antidote and fast, so Fisher makes a deal with the demon. The venom must be freely given, so they trade it its own life for 2 drops of its venom, plus a secret. Kingfisher puts a single scorpion in a box. Joshin gives them his secret, and they light the demon on fire.
Chapter 18, Brother. Saris and Lorith continue to speak with Foley in the library, sorting out the last few hundred years between them. Foley accepts that Saris and Kingfisher are mates and agrees to help her figure out her alchemist power. The first order of business? Sleep.
Chapter 19, I'll Live. Kingfisher and Carrion go back to Shaw's shop to make anti-venom. They both continue to be haunted by visions of their dead loved ones. They take it and immediately begin seizing. Hours of pain later, they are finally able to stand again, and they go to Carrion's apartment to rest. They have a drink and discuss their relationships with Saris.
All right, time to deep dive. I feel like, Catherine, you had a big moment in discussion off the pod, and I feel like I would love for you to bring our listeners into that moment.
Yeah, so I was kind of thinking about what Lindsay said in our episode 1 coverage about Saris being just too powerful, really. And I mean, I know she has all of these 7 runes, and it would make sense. She's an alchemist. She could have these 3 branches of alchemy, but when you put it all together, it does seem kind of too powerful. There was a certain vibe in Brimstone that was somewhat rubbing me the wrong way, but I really just couldn't put my finger on it when Lindsay said this. And I thought about it later of that's kind of what it is, because there's so many moments we need to go through, problems that need to be solved, and they're just kind of stacked one after each other. And a lot of them are seal this rune, get this power, seal this rune, get this power. And it's all lending itself towards her just accumulating almost too much power too quickly. And it seems like things happen quickly and then almost are resolved quickly. Like 5 days ago, we were meeting Zareth, and now the rot is here. You know, she meets Adina, which we're about to go over, and all of a sudden her runes are on fire and she must seal them. And it's just everything seems to be just happening so quickly. And I think part of her power is what's lending that vibe to me.
Yeah. I think that these things might be tied together without realizing it. My biggest thing about this book is that a lot happens without a lot happening.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
And I think it ties together with what you're saying, Catherine, is like she has the saying and then it's like, oh, we've easily overcome that. Oh, and then something happens and then bam, we easily overcome that. Like everything's overcome a little bit too easily, to the point where you're like, all of these things are happening, but when you close the book, what actually happened? You know? And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying that in a way that it really makes you think and have to put a lot of puzzle pieces together. It's not just the book that you're like, okay, and then they did this, and then they did this, and then they did this. It's not that book.
Yeah.
Like, you really have to put a lot of thought into things, which we like to do. So
Yeah.
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 that's why we're talking about it on the
Yeah.
podcast.
But I think that is a good point too, of if you're not the kind of reader who likes to do that or does that, it probably feels like
Mhm.
literally nothing happened. Because
Yeah.
you have to think so deeply about it and make the connections to be like, "Oh, wait, that's what's actually happening." So
Yeah.
it does make sense. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
This is potentially off topic too, but I had another thought that we haven't talked about yet, but I was thinking about the book this week. And a lot of times with books, between a book 1 and a book 2 and a book 3. Book 1 is our main characters meet and they fall in love, and book 2 is they're in like a honeymoon phase or they're broken apart. And then book 3 is they come back together or they are finally happy, right? Like the book 2, their timeline can go either way.
Mhm.
In this book, they really skip the honeymoon phase of their relationship. And I think fated mates has something to do with that. I think when you have a mating bond, you don't have that part of your relationship. You go straight into,
Mhm.
well, we're gonna fucking be together forever.
Right.
Like,
It's snapped into
you know,
place. Yeah.
it's snapped into place. You don't have that normal relationship where you like, you know that you're in love with each other and now you have to live in love with each other and figure out what life means. And I think I can see where people would have a hard time with that because a lot of people are like, a lot of the comments that I've read and a lot of people are saying, it's like, well, it's just so like all of a sudden they're like, oh, we're mates, we're mates, we're mates. We're like, well, A, they have a mating bond, so that would make sense. And they're like, they're just so in love already. And it's like, well, they're going through a lot.
Yeah.
Like, when would they have time to go through their honeymoon phase when
Yeah.
the world is being taken over by rot?
Right.
Like,
Right.
they don't
And it
have
was
time to do
And it was
that.
5 days ago since book 1.
Right.
But what
Yeah.
else are they doing?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just feel like they have gotten a lot of flack online for their relationship. And I was thinking about it and trying to like justify that in my head. And I think that was what I came up with is like their relationship just isn't on a normal
No.
trajectory. It's
No.
so fast tracked, A, because they have a mating bond, and B, because the world is ending.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And as you said in the last episode, Lindsay, this book reads more like a fantasy than a romantasy
Yes.
in the sense that
Yeah.
the romance is there. There's great spice. They're in love. But like this book focuses on the world building and the politics and the
Mhm.
war. And it is fantasy. And for people who maybe want more of the romance, this isn't
Mm-mm.
that. And so that could probably be another reason why people
Yeah.
feel that way. But
Yeah. And
you know, we love
even
fantasy.
if
So
Yeah. And even if she is too powerful, I will say their relationship was not something I had a problem with at all. And we even talked about our Quicksilver coverage of like, okay, but if you go a mating bond trope, that means they're mates, which
Right.
means for us, at least what we expect, there's conflict in the plot. There's not conflict in their
Mhm.
relationship. We had really strong feelings of that's what we wanted to see. And that's what we did see in Brimstone. So I was very, very pleased that basically it was like we can be separated geographically. And Callie Hart brilliantly did a necessary separation because it's
Yeah.
a dual plot. They both need to have tasks their own and missions they need to accomplish. And sometimes that will be separate. But although they're geographically separate, they're not emotionally separate or divided, and there's
Yeah.
no conflict in their relationship. And then we get a great scene of them through dreams coming back together so that we don't have a long lag of, oh my God, it's been 100, 200 pages and they haven't been together. No, we fixed
Yeah.
that. So
Although,
I
from
love
a podcaster's perspective,
it makes
as
it
the
hard to
person,
outline.
oh my God, I went back and forth and
Yeah.
back and forth about how to outline this episode in particular because most of their scenes are not together. And going back and forth between the two storylines got really complicated. And I really thanks,
I like
Callie.
the way you did it.
It was
But
thank you, because
Yeah.
it gave me a lot of
Yeah.
grief,
I
for sure.
I think Callie wrote it the way you needed to because it kept the action going.
For
Because
sure.
every time I would get invested in a chapter, we'd switch to the other. And I would be so annoyed
Yeah.
because I'm so invested. But then I would get so into the next chapter.
Yeah.
And so I was constantly on my toes. But the way
It makes you want to
you've
keep
done it.
reading.
Exactly. And you
Yeah,
need that.
for
You
sure.
need that in the story. But in
Yeah.
a podcast perspective,
Yeah.
I like the way you've kind of divided it. Let's stick with Saris, then let's go Kingfisher. And it keeps everything
Yeah.
just really together.
I understand, Callie, why you didn't write it for my outlines, but
She didn't. What?
I understand
got
why you
there.
wrote it for the reader.
Ugh.
But you got there in the end, so it all worked out.
All right, so let's dive in. Everlane has still not woken up, and Saris goes to pay her a visit. There's a quote: "Along her jawline, fine black tendrils of poison marred her perfect skin. Her fingernails were too long, tinged black." So this reads as though she is a physical embodiment of the rot that is taking over this land. It is Malcolm and his vampireness and his bite that has infested in her, but it's really interesting when you think about the rot and what is happening here and how she is, like I said, kind of physically embodying that, right?
And we don't know the source of the
Yeah.
rot still, like how it ultimately got
Yeah.
into this realm. And so I like
And where she is, that's a question that will come up later too.
Yes, I love that question.
Renfis has barely left her side, and I absolutely ship them. I am here for this 100%. Absolutely.
Yep. Amen.
Saris begins to talk to Everlane and tells her that she is sorry for leaving her at the Winter Palace so quickly. So it's kind of a very sweet, like, girlfriend type moment between them, right? Saris is not one to have girlfriends, and she had very little time with Everlane in the Winter Palace. So I like that she's taking the time to talk to her and apologize to her here.
it also is kind of a level set for us of, oh, okay, so that really is the last time she saw Everlane and actually had a conversation with her.
Sure.
Well, the Quicksilver begins speaking to Saris, and she realizes that it's been hidden in Everlane's earrings. The Quicksilver tells her, quote, "She hears you, she feels you. Open the gate, the gate, the gate. Open it, open the gate." The Quicksilver then liquefies when Saris touches the earrings, and it moves to Everlane's skin, and then a voice starts speaking out of Everlane, like she's possessed, and it's Adina. And I have a theory. So you guys might remember from last episode, I kept thinking there was this moment where I was struggling with the Quicksilver mentioning like a she. And I was like, I thought I at some point in reading thought was the she was somebody other than Saris. And it was actually this quote here. So I know there's a Quicksilver pool and a Montrieth, right? I know that she's eventually going to find that. That's absolutely true. But I don't think that's what the Quicksilver is telling Saris right here. I think the Quicksilver was almost this portal for Adina to come through Diaxis and speak to her, because I think what the Quicksilver is, because we always
I don't think that's a theory. I think that's what's happening.
No. But here's where the theory is.
Okay.
We always refer to the Quicksilver pool as a pool, not a gate. So I think when it's saying she hears you, she feels you, she's at the gate, it's the gate between it's Adina is literally at the gate, not the actual Ajan gate, but the gate between this realm and that realm. She was waiting to come through. And maybe you guys realize that. but I
Yes.
certainly fucking didn't.
Because also when they're talking to the satyr at the end, she
satyr.
calls it a gate
Yes.
too. They
Yes.
call them they call it a gate. So
Exactly.
it's just another word for it.
Yep.
But the way it was presented
Yeah.
here, you keep thinking it's all about the Quicksilver, it's all about the pool. And I'm like, no, I guess my theory is basically it was the earring. I don't think Adina has literally been trapped in this realm necessarily this entire time. We postulated that somehow her soul was literally trapped on this side the entire time. And I don't now think that was necessarily the case. I think that some magical way this Quicksilver was almost like her pass to come through that gate into this realm for this quick moment. And it could be something kind of like how Morel put a piece of her soul into Nimmerel. Maybe a piece of her soul was in these earrings. But I don't think Adina has been
I don't think that's
here.
Right. I don't think it's a piece. I think my question is who put the Quicksilver in Everlane's earrings?
Yes, exactly.
Right? Like it's
I got the impression Adina.
Right, exactly. Like it's not common for her to be wearing Quicksilver jewelry. So I think that this is another one of Adina's planned moments. Like Adina knew that this was going to happen. This was another way for Adina to be able to communicate with Saris eventually.
Exactly.
And eventually lead her. So this is just part of Adina's master plan.
Yep.
And I absolutely agree. I think that the she hears you, she feels you, open the gate. Like this is absolutely talking about Adina. But I also
the gate
think
between like the realms themselves.
But I also think that Everlane is in that realm as well. I think she's trapped.
That's the
there.
other thing I wanted to talk about is that
I think it might be a little bit of a double entendre, to be honest with you.
And it seems to me that it might be that Everlane is there. I think we've talked about potentially there and being tormented by Malcolm himself. But I like what you just said earlier, basically that what's going on with the rot and Everlane. And I wonder if it's somehow this seepage from this other world. Seepage of this other world, because think about when Everlane was first presented, all of this happened around that Erin Collish area where the rot also itself originated. And so I wonder if by somehow saving Everlane, this is how that rot is kind of coming into their world, because it's comes through so suddenly. Right? It seems so strange that now I have to wonder if it's coming through because of Everlane. She's trapped in this world, and there's almost like, is the voice of Adina Kingfisher's mother, but Saris does not put that together just yet. Adina tells her that Everlane is beyond her reach and that she is in the shadow. I cannot see.
Shadow.
And we know shadows, this is where shadows come from.
Yep, exactly. That's what made me think that she is in Diaxis, for sure.
Which one? Both? Well, obviously both.
In this case, I think Everlane, because it's Adina talking about Everlane, saying that she is in the shadow.
Yeah, and then Adina can't see her.
Do we get this kind of Greek impression of Diaxis as being kind of like an underworld where then souls are judged, and you can go to Elysium or whatever the underworld hell is, and then I think there's almost like a purgatory one as well. Like, do we get the impression that all souls go here? Because then it would kind of make sense why Adina and Everlane would potentially both be there, right? That's just where all souls go. But I was wondering what impression did you guys get of this almost underworld realm?
I don't see it as an afterlife thing. Like, I see it as like a different realm of existence type thing. So
you think they're living people?
Yeah, and I don't know why. I have literally no basis for this whatsoever.
It's the vibes.
This is just vibes. But I don't see it as dead. I know Kingfisher calls it hell. I don't think it's literal hell. I think it's hell to him. I think it's hellacious. I think
That's a good
it's
word.
another realm. I
Yeah.
think
So
it's a realm of bad where bad is cultivated. I think it's cultivated very similarly to how bad was cultivated in Sanisroth.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. So
I don't know. I don't know why.
they're either going to be in a realm that is alive
We're
or
dead.
dead.
We're dead. Those are the
Again,
No
I
way
only
have
two
jumps back to
options.
it.
nothing. I have nothing to back that up.
Yeah.
The only reason I still wonder if it's potentially like an underworld situation is simply because Styx himself is a god. And the idea of him picking some random realm in their tree
But
to like
Styx isn't the
swirl
god of
away
the
to.
underworld. He's the god of shadows.
Yes, but I guess being the god of some little tiny realm just seems so small compared to the entire universe.
Who said it was
Trillions of
tiny?
trees. It's a leaf. All the realms are a leaf. Zareth told us that. So that's the only reason I wonder that. But then we were
But
also
I'm
told
saying realm. I don't know realm. You know what I mean?
You made
to
up
be another
realm.
tree.
I said realm. It
I
could
mean-
Yeah.
be.
No, I
You
totally
know what I
agree.
mean? Yeah.
No, I hear what you're saying. What I'm trying to say is that, but even if it was an underworld situation, conversely, we've been told the gods basically have abandoned this tree. So it is also completely possible that he just chose to go to this one place, and that is where he has chosen to be this entire time, essentially waiting for their tree to go up in smoke, I guess, in rot.
Yeah.
I think part of the reason I think that is because the only thing that we've heard of heaven and hell in this book is I really don't think we've heard any mention of heaven. And we've heard the seven hells, right? Isn't the
Yeah.
phrase what in the seven hells is used?
Yeah.
So, seven hells, would this be one of them?
That's
And
kind of
there's
where
no heaven. I don't know. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
yeah, that's probably why I got this whole underworld vibe
Well, I
because
mean,
of that.
it has to be also the fact that his name is Styx. In Greek mythology, the river
Right.
Styx
The river.
is the boundary, right? Like
Right.
that's how you get to the underworld. So
Right.
there's a connection, but is it that it is literally hell and you have reached the underworld,
Mhm.
or is it so literal in that he is Styx and he is that shadowy? I actually just looked it up too, and it says the shadowy boundary, which is
Yeah.
interesting because that's who he is.
Yeah.
That is
Right.
his power. That is who he is. I don't know if I believe that is the true underworld, or if this is, I don't want to say purgatory, but like that next step
Yeah.
that's supposed to give you that vibe. But
where in the Greek they were waiting for the souls to be judged before they were put into their little
yes, that's where you have to like put the coin on their
Divide.
eyes, like, and
Yeah.
they like go down the river to get
Yeah.
to the underworld. So yeah.
Styx was also a minor goddess in Greek mythology.
There you go. Okay. Styx is
And then-
also a great band. No, I'm kidding.
You know, actually, what is a fantastic band name, I think?
What?
Blood in the Milk.
Blood in the Milk?
When we were reading that title, I was like, Blood in the Milk. That's a great band
A
name.
band. I think the band would be Guru. Guru and the
Guru and the blood in the milk.
From
And the
Blood in the Milk.
Guru. Yeah.
Guru on the blood in the milk tour.
There you go. I love that.
Let's
I
make
love
that
that.
shirt. Right?
There you
That's
go.
good.
Let's make that
yes. Yep. Ooh, okay. I also like this, Lindsay, when you said that Styx was a minor goddess. I also found it came up Styx. It says Oath Keeper of the Underworld. That is a title that she had. So Styx was, powerful goddess in the river of the underworld and the Oath Keeper of the underworld. So that's interesting.
Yeah. And I think just the whole vibe of there being like demons out there. I don't know.
Was
I
she a
just got
daughter
in-
of Hades? I don't remember.
She was a daughter
No.
of Titan. Her parents were Titans, Oceanus, and Tethys. So
Oh,
no.
so she
Those are
was
just titans.
yeah. So she was not a lesser god. Well, I don't know.
She
Anyways,
was not
okay,
one
doesn't
of the
matter.
Olympians,
Yeah, she was not an
No.
Olympian.
Right.
but she was still a god of a.
Yeah.
I guess she was still okay.
Okay. Anyways, we got major sidetracked.
Major sidetrack, but it's okay. All right.
Well, Adina tells her to go to the library and find a book. Small. There's a butterfly on the cover,
Mhm.
and it's hidden among hundreds and hundreds of stars. She also says that Kingfisher cannot know about the book. Because remember, Kingfisher cannot know about his own name either.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a
And
lot he's not allowed to know until the time is right.
He's not allowed to know.
Yep.
But I also like that he accepts he's not allowed to know. Very
Yes.
much accepts, I'm good with this. I know you can't
Mhm.
tell me
He
stuff.
trusts it.
We get
Yeah.
a quote. They told you about the rot, she says in a clear voice. They told you it would come. It's here now. You must find the book in order to stop it. Without it, a decay will spread until it swallows this realm and millions more with it. I've seen it, Sarah. Find the book. Stop the spread. It's the only way.
I love it. This is a reference here to Quicksilver when Saris goes and she meets Zareth and he tells her about the rot that is infecting the tree, which we've already talked about, which again has only been a week since that happened. And we get a quote by Zareth in Quicksilver. My family are the stewards of all you see here. We water the roots of fate. We train the boughs and prune the leaves to prevent rot and decay. There is a rot spreading throughout my domain, Saris, he said. Realms that are infected with that rot have to be summarily destroyed to protect the rest of the tree and prevent that rot from spreading. Zareth also said of the other gods, they would prefer to weather the storm on the horizon and replant our tree once the slate has been wiped clean. So this is all referencing that whole scene here. Adina knows about it. What I love about this is that Adina, as a great oracle, has seen all of the different paths. And I know we've talked about paths already in episode
Mhm.
1. We will continue to talk about this idea that there are multiple different paths that still can happen. And it almost seems like fate is not determined. Like there are a couple of different options that they have out in front of them. And so I love that Adina has seen the bad and she has seen here is the only way that you can stop it. You have to follow this. And if you do it, it gives me hope deep in my soul that this could be okay, but we just got to stick to the plan, people. We got to stick to the plan.
She has basically Doctor Strange to this.
Absolutely
And
has.
told our Iron Man Saris
Yeah.
one.
Listen.
That's really crossing
Realms,
intellectual
The
properties there.
multiverse, ladies. The multiverse.
different IP, totally fine.
Also, side note, these gods suck at being stewards
Yeah.
of the tree.
Yeah, you're not stewarding
They
anything.
are fucking up their job royally.
They're like,
and
"Let's
if they
just let
have
it
a
die and
dad,
replant
you
it."
should be mad.
Plant a new seed.
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 Oh, wait.
Don't spiral. Okay.
You shouldn't have said that, Kelly. You started her up.
Oh, yeah. Adina also tells Saris that as an alchemist, she has to seal her runes. Quote, you are a well that runs deep. When you were marked with your runes, their magic began pouring into you. It flows and flows. It will not stop. Seal them, Saris. If you do not, she gets cut off, and then the runes start to burn her. Adina makes a note to tell her that she isn't the one burning Saris. And Saris is screaming Adina's name when Kingfisher comes bursting into the room, opens the door and's like, why are you yelling my mom's name? And she's like, oh, okay, that's how I know
forgot
Adina.
that was
Right.
your mom's
Well,
name.
oh, yeah.
Right.
Meanwhile, we're sitting there going, oh my God, it's Adina.
I love how Dina makes a point of being like, I'm not doing this just so
Right.
you know.
Just so you know, this
Honey.
is not me. I'm a good
Right.
mother-in-law.
Right. Saris does tell Kingfisher what happened, but per Adina's request, she does not tell him about the book.
Can I just interrupt really quick?
You may.
Because I loved the back and forth. She's like, I don't want to tell him, but he deserves to know. I was like, thank God. Because if she would have held this whole thing back for him, I would have been so annoyed at Saris. I was like, thank you for making that choice. Thank you for telling him the truth, what you could tell him. That is all.
I mean, she does give in pretty quickly
She
and
does.
tell him, though.
She does. Right. So I'm so happy. I was
Like
like,
the next
please
paragraph.
please don't even have this little
Right.
conversation in your head. Okay,
Right.
good choice. Like, it was great.
Yeah.
I was like, thank you.
Kelly was like,
Right.
I was thinking through like 90 pages later, major conflict. I
Right,
didn't
yeah.
want it to happen.
I was like,
and it
please,
didn't happen.
it's just like immediate. Oh, that's
Here
a
it is.
mature decision. In the moment, right
Yep.
away, I can make this mature decision. Thank you.
Right.
And test passed.
Test passed. Exactly.
Right. She says that she's more concerned about the runes, saying, quote, the pain I had experienced in Everlane's bedroom hadn't been normal. It had felt like it was burning my soul as well as my body, as if the river of magic flowing through me had caught fire and was unmaking me. It had been terrifying. So what do we make of this pain, ladies? Who do we... Like, is this someone that's doing this to her? Is it just the magic itself? Catherine, is it that all-powerful magic that it's affecting her in
Yeah.
this moment?
I'm going to take Adina here at face value and simply say, I'm going to take Adina at face value here and say her alchemist runes have to be sealed. She is the most powerful. This is what you need to do. Foley kind of backs us up later saying, yes, you just need to do it. So I'm just going to say, that's what it is.
Yeah. I kind
Just
of.
the well of power.
Yes.
Just a well of fucking power.
well of power.
She got a lot of it.
And I kind of like this idea, Lindsay, to your point and Catherine's point, where I'm not as upset with it, but I can see the negatives of this like too powerful FMC, right? I'm wondering if this is actually Callie's way of writing in, you can't have too much power. And I'm wondering if being able to go through this process, seal the runes, and have some kind of control over this power will help maybe quell that a little bit for us. Like, it's actually bad to have this much power within you. So I don't know if that's going to come into play, but I agree with you, Catherine. I think I'm going to take her at face value that it's just alchemists can't do this.
Right. So Taylana mentions that her husband, Maynir, has been obsessed with alchemy. Interesting and extremely convenient.
Of course. Why wouldn't he be?
But he's interested, but he doesn't know anything.
Also true.
That's interesting.
And we get a little bit of witch history here from Ishabel. Their political seat is Nevercross. Interesting note, if you look on the map, there are only 2 places that have a map marker on the map, Nevercross and an island city called Graves Point. I don't know what that means at all, but I wanted to point it out.
Yep.
Okay.
TBD.
I totally agree with you. I'm like, why has it got that there?
Yes, there you go.
Yep.
Ishabel also goes on to say that there are catacombs hidden deep in Nevercross that only guild witches can access, and Kingfisher guesses that they may hold alchemical records and texts. He warns Ishabel that the rot is spreading and may affect her people soon, and she's like, not yet.
I know. People are very unworried about this whole spread. Like,
Yeah. Unbothered.
light a fire under your asses, people. Like, what the fuck? Well, we find that Renfis and Lorith have been at Erin, and they come in and tell the group that the rot has spread. Shocker. Even more. 1,000 more warriors have been lost, and where the bodies lay, the rot spreads from them, infecting the ground and all the creatures. Kingfisher and Saris also decide that this is the perfect time to tell them what really happened after Saris killed Malcolm, that she was pulled through the Quicksilver by the gods themselves. And I found this whole thing hilarious because I'm like, oh, wow, they don't know. I didn't know they didn't know that they didn't know any of this stuff. That's really surprising. But I'm also kind of, I enjoyed the fact that we get it on page. It's nice to see it on page, but I was like, oh, wow, they really don't know anything.
Same. I had the same reaction. I was like, oh, yeah, I guess they didn't tell him. Oh,
yeah.
But when would they have? Oh,
yeah,
okay,
right.
cool.
So much has happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Lots of shit going on, so it makes sense. We get an interesting religious discussion, and Isabel tells us that the Balquidder believe in different gods, saying the Avalian gods aren't real. They're metaphors, but the Balquidder ones, they are real. And
Can I
Laura,
have a timeout real quick? Sorry.
yes,
They're talking about the Evelian gods, right?
yeah, the seven.
Yes, the
But
seven.
when you look at the map, Evelia, they talk about Evelia like it's
As
the
if
whole
it's the whole realm,
land.
and it
Does
bothers
that
the
bother?
shit out of me
Okay.
so much.
Okay. Thank you.
100%.
That is all.
Wait, so,
I do not.
sorry, say it again. They talk about Evelia
about
like it's the whole
Evelia.
land. Is
Yeah,
what you're
like
saying.
the whole realm is
Yes.
Evelia, and it's
But
not. It's
Evelia
one of the
isn't.
four
It's
kingdoms.
it's one of the four kingdoms. It's Evelia, Sanis Roth, Lycia, and
Lycia.
Galeria.
Yeah.
But they talk about Evelia like it's the continent.
Mm,
But it's really so like saying the Evelian gods,
yeah.
but it shouldn't be that way because technically the Balquidder is one clan. It's not an entire people. I don't know. Anyways, okay.
I
I'm sorry.
don't disagree with you that, and the
They
fact that
say
we
that
don't
a
have a
lot.
name for this entire realm does actually
Yeah.
bother me.
They say it a couple of times in this book where I'm like, but is it Evelia the like country or
Yeah.
Evelia the
Mhm.
continent?
No,
like it
I
kind
just think
of
they're from Avelia or they like represent it, so they just refer to it as that, but it's not. They're not there.
yeah,
It's
but
not
there's
the
a
whole
couple of
continent.
times where I found it confusing
Yes.
in the book. Okay, sorry.
Yep.
keep
No,
going. Okay.
I 100% am on board with that, and I remember some interview that Callie was doing where she was wondering why people weren't questioning her more about the map. And here's a big question for Callie. What's the name of this realm?
Yeah.
Hmm.
What is it?
Banner
Edit
and Bookmarks
shade.
wants to know.
Yeah. Not Avelia. It's not
It's not
Sanisroth.
Avelia.
Mm-mm.
It's not
Not
Amatreus.
Larry. It's not
Yep.
Lucia.
Right. So what is it?
And is this the entire place?
Right.
Is there more around it? Like, is this just a continent?
I don't know.
Is this Planet Bob?
Planet Bob. Where is Zilvarin? Is it
A
a whole
city,
different
another realm.
in a whole different realm? So the realm is not Zilvarin. It's just a
No,
city.
it's a city. They made a point of
It's a
saying the
city.
Yep.
Silver City, the something
Mhm.
of the north.
But like,
the-
what's
So
outside
we don't
that?
know. Right. We don't know
but
the
they
realm.
did mention there's other cities that they just don't have
Yeah.
access to because there's like
Because of the desert.
deserts.
Yeah.
You
Interesting.
die.
But nobody makes it across the desert. You're telling me that even in the other cities, zero technology exists to make it across the desert?
I'm gonna bet that Carrion, in his 1,000 years of being there, took a romp.
Oh, he took a
Like-
romp.
He took a romp.
I don't know. Okay, sorry. Sorry, I got us off track with my questions. I'm sorry.
But so going back to it, Isabel is saying that the Evalian gods, they're not real. Balquidder ones are real, but Lorith more likens them to witchy, like elemental spirits. So who knows? And then we later get a religious zealot talking about demon gods. So honestly,
Who knows?
who knows?
Literally, who knows? And Kingfisher's like, no, they're real. We've met them. And they're assholes, but they're
Yeah.
real.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, they exist and they suck.
And also, like, we literally just told you an entire story about how we've met them.
Yeah.
So,
And
How are
Isabel's
you
like,
not
were
believing
you
this?"
on mushrooms? I don't
Right,
believe you.
yeah.
Listen. Listen,
Technically
Isabel.
speaking, if I were her, I would have been like, okay, well, you met 3. If there's 7, where's the other 4?
Come on,
Kingfisher's like,
Ish.
just wait, lady, just wait.
Yeah.
They tell everyone that Zareth showed Ceres the rot, and that the other gods saw it as a way of wiping the slate of the universe clean and starting over. They realize that they need a backup plan, and that might mean a mass evacuation from the land. Ceres needs to get work in the forge making relics. Kingfisher and Carrion need to go on a cute little boys' trip to Zilvaran to get a shit ton of silver. That's in case the vampire horde gets infected as part of this entire process. And while they're in Zilvaran, pick up Hayden.
Yep.
Thanks.
We get
And actually get him this time.
This
a
time.
actually get him this time. And we
Follow
get a
through
funny
on that
quote.
deal you made.
We get a funny quote. I swear by the gods, if you talk the entire time, I will kill you and leave your carcass for the crows, Carrion Swift. And I love that line because carcass, Carrion, making the
Yep.
connection with his name. And that's very, very
Absolutely.
cute.
In episode 1, we talked a lot about inconsistencies in the book, and in this chapter, we get told there is one here on purpose, and it's the one Catherine pointed out and we all discussed in our Quicksilver coverage. Carrion tells everyone that he is 1096, but they all argue with him, saying that according to their math, he must be much older, like in his 1700s, right? But Kingfisher says that he has been thinking about this and, quote, there's a plausible explanation for Carrion's age, Kingfisher explained. When my father, another my father, by the way, unnamed father, when my father took him through the Quicksilver, something must have happened. My money's on the gods, interfering again. Time is strange in their realm. When my father fled with the Dianthus heir, one or more of the gods must have delayed their escape. At least at their destination, anyways. Time continued here in Evalia, but in Zilvarin, I believe it stood still.
So if we think about Orlena's bonus chapter, and there was definite note of shadows being used in that bonus chapter, which must have come from his bio father, Styx. Okay. When he says, not only did my father flee with the Dianthus heir, but one or more of the gods must have delayed their escape. Well, if one of those gods is fleeing with the Dianthus heir, it makes sense that he could also fuck with the timeline as part of that process.
And it would make sense if he was married to an oracle that knew that this heir had to return at a certain time.
Yep.
100%.
Okay.
Putting
I
the
like
pieces
that.
together. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Carrion asks why, and really none of them have a guess. They're all just like, I don't know. But I think we just figured it out.
I think we did too. And also, Saris exists in this moment. So, duh, that's why it has
There
to be
you go.
now.
And again, I think the theory is to bring him into this moment, right? The author is telling us here on page that there are purposeful inconsistencies in the timeline. And I think we need to start paying attention to those here, right?
Yes.
So, from here on out in this episode, we are going to do things a little bit differently for a bit. This book is written in both Kingfisher and Saris's POVs, and they are not together for this stretch of the book. Since their storylines do not directly affect each other while they are apart, we are going to first talk about Saris's storyline for this set of chapters, and then we're going to go back and talk about Kingfisher's storyline for this set of chapters.
I like that we're doing it this way.
Yes,
It's
it
like
makes sense.
boom, boom, boom,
Yeah,
boom, boom.
yeah.
Helps your brain.
Yes, absolutely.
Saris and Lorith have a training session, and Saris realizes that while he does want to help her train, Kingfisher has also ordered him to stay with her. So, roll call for where everybody is at this moment. Kingfisher and Carrion went to Zolvarin. Telena and Maynir went to Irin to help with the wounded soldiers. Isabel went to the witches to ask if they know how to seal alchemical runes. Ren went to near Kalish to warn settlements about the rot. Danya was in charge of the rest of the war camp, sending parties out to try to keep the rot at bay, which sounds like such a fruitless exercise. There's nothing really to do. It's going to just keep on coming. But so while they're training, Saris's shoulder gets dislocated. So after popping her shoulder back into place, they decide it's time to go have a drink because Saris is Lorith's drinking buddy, apparently, to replace Foley all those years ago. Although the city around Montrieth is beautiful, there are vampires and thralls everywhere being fed on. There's children, Fae children, crying in the streets, and there's a woman getting whipped. But there's also a really cool mention here that familiars are for sale. So familiars do exist in this world. And we've talked a lot about Onyx being a familiar, if not in name, but maybe he will get that
Yeah.
title at some point.
I love that you called that out
Yeah.
too.
I
That's
found
so
that.
good.
Mhm.
Lorith, I love this next moment between, like, Lorith and Saris have just this kind of beautiful bond forming. He's always there to protect her because he wants to be there to protect her. And he calls Saris his sister. And they enter a bar called the Fool's Paradise. And Lorith is immediately recognized since he left without paying his bill 600 years ago.
That is some petty AF
Yeah. You
shit.
don't hold a grudge, man. Oh my gosh.
Whoopsie whoopsie. So he gets into a bit of a scuffle, and the bar's owner has to step in and break it up. Guess who the bar's owner is?
Your boy.
Tal. My boy.
Yeah, boy.
Your
My
boy. Well, after this whole thing goes down, Tal and Sarah step into his office for a chat. He has an office because he's the owner. I like this. And her runes start to glow and burn through her skin. And she tries to keep it from him, but he tells her, guess what? As your maker, you cannot lie to me. In fact, you glow blue. Your aura glows blue. And like you are setting off everything right now. I could see it. I love that. Zaris tells him about Adina speaking through Everlane and even about the book that she needs to find. She kind of reasons with herself that Adina said not to tell Kingfisher, but she said nothing about enlisting the help of other people. So, Tal is, pretty taken aback by all this information. And they get into a conversation about her magic. And Tal says, quote, the way your runes smoldered would indicate that you have access to elemental fire magic. Once harnessed, that would be incredibly useful, no? And the fact, I would think so. And the fact that your hands are healed now after the damage I just witnessed implies that you also have regenerative magic, physical magic, power over the body. At some point, you might be able to heal others with your abilities. Yet another thread that connects you to your alchemist heritage. These things that are happening to your body can all be seen as signs of positive things to come. After Sarah says that she is scared of all of this magic, he continues on to say, quote, the blast zone would be more than 40 miles. You'd probably destroy half of Evelia. In fact, that much magic being unmade by itself would probably trigger a chain reaction that would unmake all magic everywhere. The whole realm would probably be... He gets cut off. Okay, is this some scary foreshadowing or what? He's like, oh yeah, if this were to happen, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, this is exactly what's probably fated to happen if I choose the wrong path.
Like, and I'm telling you, I'm afraid of it. And you're like, this is your response.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you should be afraid because it'd be pretty bad. Don't. Come on.
Well, I mean, think about where Tal's mind is at this point. I mean, he's kind of planning his own death in the background.
That's
so
so
really,
true.
he's like, well, I'm not going to fucking be here. So
Yeah.
really, just let the whole world burn.
I also I wonder what in Callie's mind, what his tone was. Like, is he just kind of pacing around the room being kind of talking to himself, well, the blast zone would be more than 40 miles. You'd probably destroy half of Evelia. You know what I mean? Like, is he just or is it more, the blast zone would be more than 40 miles? Like, what is his tone and his thought process when he's
I think
doing
he's like this.
For those listening, she has a very inquisitive...
She has tented fingers.
Tented fingers. Very inquisitive. Well, then Tal asks Saris, quote, would it offend you very badly if I publicly disavowed you and severed our bond? She says, hell yeah, let's do it. She is all about it. I loved this moment. Loved this moment because he was like, yeah, we don't need this. Like, let's just get rid of it. And she's all about it. And Tal says, let's be friends. So, Saris, you need to start calling me Tal. Saris is racking up the friends in Brimstone.
Yeah.
I love this for her. Our girl needs some friends.
Absolutely. Yep. Saris and Tal
Callie
now
boy.
are on their way to the library. So we get an oddly worded quote here that I just want to point out. The pale ghost of his reflection kept pace beside him in the obsidian walls, the image of him so near perfect in the glassy black stonework that I almost had trouble telling them apart. My doppelganger strode beside me too, gait confident, head held high. When my hands moved to the silver-tipped daggers at my hips, her hands moved too. When I turned to stare at her, she stared coolly back at me, her face a mask of indifference, but I noticed the wariness in her. There were shadows beneath her blue eyes. Now, it's just oddly worded. Like, the pale ghost of his reflection, and I think it's the image of him so near perfect. Like, if it is a direct reflection, it should be a perfect reflection, right? But it's a pale ghost reflection so near perfect that I almost had trouble telling them apart. But shouldn't a reflection be perfect?
In a
Like, it's
mirror,
just
yes, but in obsidian.
oddly, I don't know, it's just very oddly worded to me, you know? And then the same thing with, like, my doppelganger strode beside me. It's an odd word rather than just saying my reflection on the wall. I don't
And
know.
Callie is probably like, Lindsay, I was trying to give you more than my reflection on the
I
wall.
just It took me, this is one of those quotes that I had to read it a couple of times to figure out that they were just looking at their reflections walking next to them. Like, the use of the word doppelganger and the use of the words so near perfect, I just found it really odd. I don't know.
I
I
definitely
think
had
it's
to read it
because we're
twice,
all,
Yeah.
yeah.
but I was like,
And
wait,
we're
what are they
always,
saying? But yeah.
Right, and the shadows
Yeah.
too. Well, and the doppelganger thing, like, kind of threw me off because there's talk in the beginning of, we'll just pretend like that you're at orgies and things like that. So on my first read, I was like, wait, do they have a doppelganger there for her? So when she's back and
Oh,
forth with at Kalish, they have someone playing the part of Saris.
yeah.
Like, the second I read that word, and then I was like, oh no, wait, it's just her seeing her reflection. But I don't know, it really
Yeah.
threw me off for some reason.
Yep.
it's because we're always looking for stuff.
Yes.
And so we'll look at something and be like, is there something
Probably.
here more than
Yeah.
Yeah.
face value?
Yeah, exactly. So when we wrote this outline, this was an inconsistency. This is where the quote was that Lorith was with Carrion in the training hall. And we know that Carrion is with Kingfisher in Zilvarin. This has been fixed in the Kindle versions of the book.
Yep.
So we know that this is not an inconsistency. This is an actual editing error and it has been corrected. I'm assuming that it will be corrected in print versions moving forward. And that means, everybody, that we don't have a book that has a mistake in it. We have a rare first edition of a book.
Yeah. Spot the
There you go.
mistakes. I love it.
Yep, rare first edition. Okay. And so the quote now is, Lorith had ridden out to check for any messages at the sentry post on the banks across from Erin, so it was just Tal and me now. But a moment of appreciation for this beautiful quote. As all of us are book lovers here, all libraries contained magic, even libraries that didn't specialize in such things. Because what was a book if not a portal into another realm, another time, another life, even?
You
Love
do
that
like that
quote.
one.
I know,
That
me
needs to
too.
be on all the merch. I love
I
that.
know, I love it. Me too.
Well, they get to the library and nasty old Alget screams to them to not let the cat out. I don't know why that was the voice, but that was Alget in my
No,
head
that's
just
their
now.
voice. That's
I'll
100%.
let the cat out. And as they enter, paper birds fly overhead, and Tal tells Saris that they are called stargazers. Quote, there are hundreds and hundreds of them up there, nesting in the rafters. They've been here for as long as anyone can remember, over 1,000 years probably. Someone folded mating pairs a long time ago and gave them a spark of magic. They kept hold of that magic and passed it on and passed it on again.
I have another question about magic then.
Yep.
Because as we brought up in Quicksilver, like the darn that divided essentially Avelia from Amontriath, all Fey magic did not work past this part. Like it was almost like a wall where Kingfisher's shadows did not work past. And we've now seen in Brimstone some of his shadows, not portal shadows, but he can still use some of his shadows. So it's a little bit more wishy-washy on the magical restraints. Even though I would expect only death magic to exist in a place like this. So I have to wonder, one, how the Stargazers have magic at all, magic that doesn't appear to be death magic. And kind of along those lines, knowing that Edina wrote that page on one of the Stargazers, we know this is her doing. How did she get this magic here in this death world where no magic is supposed to be? How did she get the book here? And so I just have a lot of questions about how the magic is existing in Amontriath when I thought we had clear guidelines that Fey magic could not exist here.
As you were talking, because I also had that question, because we keep getting told that Fey magic doesn't exist there, and then Fey magic keeps existing there. But as you were talking, I wonder if she has like an inside man there.
That Edina
Because,
does?
yeah. And I only think about it when you pair together the question of how did the magic get there and how did the book get there. I think you have to pair those two questions together to figure it out because A, when you read this quote about someone folded mating pairs a long time ago and gave them a spark of magic and they kept mating and they kept mating, we don't know that that's how it happened.
That's the
right?
story, right?
That's a story. We don't know that that's true. That's just from Foley's point of view.
And could it be Foley that's her
Tal's.
inside man?
Oh, is this from Tal at this point?
Tal was,
This is
yeah,
Tal.
we haven't met
But
Foley yet.
we know
Foley's
that
not old enough, I don't think.
Yeah. I
Foley?
don't think it would be him. I don't think it
Yeah.
would be him
Okay.
Alget's not old enough.
or nice enough.
No, Alget wouldn't.
Honestly,
I don't
I
know
go
who
back
it
to the
is.
Hazrax. I go back
It
to the
could-
Hazrax.
It could be the Hazrax.
Yeah. Yeah. Part of me wonders
That makes sense.
too if there is something to do with the fact that there was no Fey magic there under Malcolm. Malcolm is no longer the ruler, and now a half Fey, half vampire is the ruler.
Yeah,
And
but
so,
these things have been there for thousands of years, those little stargazers.
But time doesn't matter, and the gods can fuck with timelines, and different paths can lead you to different places. So
yeah, but Tal makes a note of seeing them for the last 1,000 years there. So, I mean, if he's seen that in the real time,
it doesn't.
Did Thanos Roth exist before Malcolm was king?
No idea. No clue.
See, that might be something is that what it is that maybe those just predate Malcolm's.
But this also says over 1,000 years, probably. So I don't know that we can really.
Yeah. No, for
That's
sure.
That's pretty loosey-goosey.
It's very loosey-goosey.
When it comes to timelines.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, I do, and Catherine, I agree with you. I think the question is, how did she get them there?
Because it doesn't make sense based on what we know from Quicksilver.
Yeah.
You're 100% right.
I feel like the simplest explanation is that she had to have had an inside man or an inside way to get there.
Or an inside
I mean, Or there is a Quicksilver pool there. So
it's not getting it there that I struggle with. It's simply the
magic
the
existing.
concept of the magic itself.
But what if she created the magic in Kalish or in wherever, in Avelia, took them through the Quicksilver pool, planted them, or had someone else plant them, brought them there, released them, boom.
Boom.
I struggle with that because they can't leave the library. So how could they be brought from the library? It's almost like they had to be created in the library. Magic can't exist here. And we've gone full circle.
Well, maybe
I don't have
magic
an
can only
answer.
exist in the library because libraries are magic.
Or the original pair is different.
Right.
It could be simple as that, is that the original pair was different because they were created differently.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have an answer because I just don't think we know enough yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I struggle to take Alget seriously as apparently this very evil witch because I find her fucking hilarious. I actually like her a lot. I don't care about Kingfisher's warning, but she does have a few choice nicknames for Ceres. King Killer. That one makes sense. Day's End.
Ooh, I have some thoughts.
The Last Tide. Name Breaker.
Makes sense.
I mean, Name Breaker is the obvious foreshadowing, right? She's going to find out Kingfisher's name at the end, but it also makes you wonder what Alget knows about all of that. So
yes,
interesting
100%.
she gave her that name. We know she was kicked out of her own clan for meddling in dark magic, but okay, Lindsay, what about the other two? Day's End, The Last Tide.
My thought with Day's End is think about where Ceres comes from, which is Zilvarin, which has 2 sons, and the day never ends.
She going to end it?
Yeah.
It's always daytime, and now she might be the downfall of that, maybe?
I do like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Maybe the last tide is maybe
the last tide.
The last tide of the rot. The tide of the rot.
The only thing that I thought of here was the saying, the tides of change. And Zareth is the god of chaos and change. And so something connecting, maybe she's that last tide of change to get everything figured out. And then maybe that would lead to peace. But I feel like it's a stretch, but that's where my brain went.
Yeah.
I like what Kelly, you said about the last tide. But all of this still lends itself to the bigger question of what the fuck does Algat know about all of this, that she has these clever names for her. But to at least bring up a few more names, just so we've got them all in one place, the Quicksilver later on in chapter 26 calls her also Ruination, Blight, and Curse Worker. So she's got some fantastic nicknames to work with from here on out.
Know what I just realized too? I have no theories about this, but it's an interesting pin to put in here that Alget, who works in the library where Adina's little stargazers that tell Ceres eventually all the things that need to happen to be able to do all these things, happens to call her these names that lead you to think that maybe she knew a little bit of something else. So I just think it's interesting that they're in the same place, and that's all I'll say. I don't know what else to connect there, but
I mean, I could see Alget doing something to read those bird pages.
Possibly bird pages, or was Alget always the worst? Or is there a chance that Alget wasn't always the worst? And
really, only Kingfisher says that she's the worst. In my mind,
Alget's the keeper of what?
Hilarious.
What is
keeper of
records?
Keeper of records.
Records. Okay.
She's the librarian.
Right. Yep. Okay.
And I think we said that she's the witch from Merida, or at least that's in my head.
100%. Yep.
Alga tells them that she does have books on alchemy because Malcolm was a patron of the alchemists and wouldn't allow Belicon into his domain, which is why none of the books in Amatreath have been destroyed. Interesting. very interesting here.
Wild to me. Yeah.
Even more interesting is that Algit starts to tell Ceres what she is as an alchemist, and Tal stops her. Why? What do we make of this moment?
I literally have no clue. Like,
What was
like literally, I was like, what?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
stops her.
Yeah. I have no idea.
Here it is. Okay. Oh, yes, an alchemist is a dangerous thing. Has no one ever told you what you are? No one's told you why Belicon and your precious Queen Madra both hunted down and murdered all of your kind? Algit. Tal didn't raise his voice this time, but he didn't need to. The single word resonated around the library with the force of a thunderclap. Algit jumped, the wild light in her eyes sputtering out as she cowed, lowering her head away from the vampire. I felt it too, a crushing force against the back of my neck that wanted me to bow, kneel, crawl for the mail sitting at the end of the table. It was by sheer force of will alone that I didn't drop to my knees. Enough of the games, Tal said. She wants to understand who she is and what she's capable of. She doesn't need to be scared out of her mind along the way. You will help her find facts and nothing more. It's
Yeah.
interesting.
Do we think that he's
Interesting.
worried that if she hears more, she will get cold feet? Or maybe it's almost one of those situations where knowing less is better?
I have a theory.
Yeah.
So at the end of Brimstone, Kingfisher tells Ceres why he could not tell her who his father is, right? Because he said, I knew that the dragon was going to look through your mind, so I needed your mind to be clear. What if Tal knows? What if he knows who Kingfisher's father is? Maybe he knows, and maybe he suspects Algit is trying to potentially let that through, and he knows that maybe that Ceres can't know that information either. I'm stretching wildly here, but I feel like he didn't want her to know some particular information because of potentially others using that information or gleaning it from Ceres.
Yeah, I don't know that has anything to do with the father. I think it's more about her. Like about what she really could be. Like an alchemist is a dangerous thing. Has no one ever told you what you are? No one's told you why Belicon and your precious Queen Madra both hunted down and murdered all of your kind. So
Yeah.
like she doesn't want Ceres to know
The real thing.
or like she knows the truth
Yeah.
and Tal stops Algit from
Yeah.
telling her the truth in that moment.
Yeah. What? Yeah. I want to know. I want to know.
Me
Tal, can you
too.
tell us real quick?
And Callie's probably
Ring.
like, I did tell you. He said Algit stopped playing games with her. She really just wants to know.
Guru Mobile. Give us a call.
Speaking of Guru.
Speaking of Guru, the Shadow
Yay.
Cat makes an appearance. I love this cat. Algit tells Ceres that the price for one book will be 5 drops of Ceres's blood, and then she feeds it to Guru, the blood and milk drinking cat. I was wondering
in
what the
milk.
title. Yeah, I was wondering what the title of the chapter was going to be, and I was like, oh, it's the cat
In the milk.
and the milk,
In the milk.
little pink penne vodka
Do we
milk.
think Guru might be a spy potentially for Styx because he is of shadows himself and we know where shadows come from?
Could be.
Yes, I do have a theory. Adina left Ceres the book. Styx left Kingfisher Guru.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's almost like his familiar, his little shadow familiar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a guru is a like your not master, like a teacher, right? Like your
Mm-hmm.
spirit guide kind of thing. So could be a guru,
Yes, it means teacher, expert, master.
expert. There you go, expert. No, I didn't think it meant. I thought master, but okay.
Gu also means darkness and Ru means light.
Oh, there you go. Both
We've talked a lot about darkness and light.
Guru. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
darkness and light. Cool. Side note, remember we learned from Ceres's coronation that Algit can hear people's thoughts, and it happens again here. Ceres forbids Algit from listening in on her or her friends, ever again. We're feeling here like this is going to come back to bite her in the ass, are we not?
Yes,
Foresight.
absolutely.
Foresight, people. Okay. Well, Algit goes off to look for a book, and Saris looks up at the library ceiling, marveling at the depiction of stars. She has actually never seen stars before. If you think about it, she comes from Silvarin, a place that is eternal daylight, only has the suns, and has never seen a night sky filled with the beautiful stars. So she is looking up, and as she's looking up, a dark-haired, my accent came out.
It really did. A
Yeah,
dark-haired.
because I'm
Dark-haired
struggling
vampire.
with my sickness. Sorry,
Yeah.
everybody.
Oh, really? Dark-haired vampire?
Dark-haired vampire.
Dark-haired vampire.
Dark-haired vampire male with gold-plated fangs slams into her, and she kicks him in the balls, and then she stabs him with that dagger that Kingfisher gave her on Coronation Day.
Good girl.
Yeah, and he seems to recognize the blade. But out of nowhere, Saris's runes start to glow, and a white-blue shockwave of power blows a 20-foot hole into the side of Amantreus. Good. You know what? This was wild. This was I was like, excuse me, who, what now? I had to go back and
Lots of stuff
reread
is
this. I was like,
happening.
did she just get attacked?
Did she just kick him in the balls?
Did she just kick him in the balls? What happened?
In the vampire balls?
Right?
Why does he have gold teeth?
I know. I love that one.
There's a lot going on here.
Algit is furious at Saris, not only for blowing a hole in the side of the library, but more so because she let out the shadow cat. And that was like the one rule.
I freaking love it though, because Saris is like, does she not realize that he's literally made of shadows and can like go wherever he wants? Like, he doesn't fucking stay in the library. He's made of shadows. But she's like, I'm not gonna say that out loud.
No,
I was like, okay, wait, that's so funny.
Yes, so good. It's so good.
But I also love that Algit gets pissed at her. She's like, are you not going to beat him up now? What am I even hanging around here for then?
Seriously. I also love that this mirrors the explosion and the breaking of the wall in Kingfisher and Carrion's little side quest too. We'll get to that later when we talk about it.
Absolutely.
It happens at the exact same time, and I love that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like an explosion in the lightness and an explosion in the darkness.
Yep. They're doing
mirrors and opposites.
Exactly. Their actions are mirroring each other, and I kind of liked it.
It's a mirrors and
Mirrors, mirrors and opposites.
opposites.
Listen, if my accent's gonna come out, sorry everybody, I am recovering from a cold, and so I'm
Sorry,
struggling.
guys. I'm
Okay,
from
wait.
the South.
My husband all the time, I don't know what movie it is, but he quotes a Billy Bob Thornton movie all the time. Oh, it's from Bandits, and Billy Bob Thornton is like sleeping, and he's like talking in his sleep, and he goes, beavers and ducks. And my husband says that all the time, completely out of context. Like, he will say it all the time. He'll be like, hey babe, do you want some more water? He'll be like, beavers and ducks. Like, and when you said that, you're like, darkness and light. Like, that's what it was like. Just like
Mirrors and opposites.
Mirrors and opposites. Beavers and ducks.
Oh gosh,
guys, I fear that we're gonna have merch that says beavers and ducks on it. Mirrors and opposites, beavers and ducks.
Beavers and ducks. We have a lot of weird shit.
All right.
Well, after that, I think it's safe to say her runes are getting worse.
Oh yeah.
Quote, my hand throbbed like crazy. Before, when the runes had blazed through my skin, my hands had healed themselves instantly once the episode was over. This time, I hadn't been so lucky. My fingertips were split open, the skin charred and black from where the magic had discharged from my hand. Blood dripped from deep slices in my palm, and my runes were still raw and blistered, as if someone had pressed a burning brand to my skin. Lovely. It was healing. I could feel that it was, but it was taking way longer than I would have liked. It fucking hurt. Just a little bit of personality coming out there with Saris.
I love it, right? I like her. I like it.
Well, good girl Saris has chained the male up that attacked her.
Yes.
And let's talk about his appearance here, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Dark hair, shorn close to his scalp, eyes pale blue with bright golden starbursts around his pupils that are vertical like a snake's. And we get no
Never.
explanation for
No
that
explanation.
in the entire fucking book.
Nope.
And I kept waiting for it, and it
Yeah,
didn't happen.
literally.
I
Literally.
read this and went, the fuck? Like,
Yeah, and I
Why?
was like, so wait, this way and a star.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like,
it's like
Why?
starbursting, but along.
what do you mean?
what do you mean?
What do you
What do you
mean?
mean?
What do you
What do you
mean? We do get one explanation, golden canines. We find out later from Kingfisher that Malcolm ripped his canines out, which is supposed to mean that vampires can't feed, so they'll starve to death. And it's the ultimate vampiric punishment since Foley wouldn't swear fealty to the vampire court.
Right.
Gold teeth, check. Vertical pupils, no check.
Yep. No check.
He accuses Saris of killing Kingfisher, saying that he would never part with his dagger, and he would especially have never given it to a vampire. Saris shows him her god bindings, and he is absolutely dumbfounded by them.
Good.
But before he can respond, Lorith comes in and, quote, gives her the kind of look that says Kingfisher will be hearing about this.
I do love that.
I love that. So good. Lorith greets his old brother Foley, and there is definitely some tension at first. Foley finally accepts that Saris and Kingfisher are mated after Lorith holds them out the hole in the side of the building, making Foley see reason. Foley
I would see
tells
reason
him-
there too.
Yep,
right.
I would
well,
see all
okay.
of it.
Okay.
I see the
fine.
reason.
I'll
Dangles
listen.
out of the building.
There's the reason. Okay, bring me back in.
Yep. Okay.
Yep,
Yep.
got it.
Absolutely. Thanks for blowing this hole in the side of the building so I can dangle him out of it
Yep.
real quick.
But you know what? He's got his sister's back.
He does.
That's right.
Sisters
Absolutely.
before bros right here, because this bro's got some splaining to do.
Yep.
That's right. Foley explains. He tells him that he came to Amontreath after he was turned because he didn't want to feed, and there were less living creatures there to be tempted by. Makes sense, right? Tal permitted him to stay, and for some reason, Alget permitted him to hide out in the library. Lorith mentions that they have tried to reach him over the years, but their letters were never answered. Okay, this goes back to Alget. Why did Alget permit him in the library? What does she know?
And Adina cares deeply about Foley, so
yes.
Yeah.
I feel like Adina and Alget have to have some sort of connection.
Some cahoots.
Right?
There are some cahoots to be had, yeah.
Especially since Alget takes care of the shadow cat.
Right?
She's nice to animals. She's not a bad person.
But the shadow cat.
Right.
Like, come on.
Right.
And she was kicked out for dark arts. So she knows about the dark arts and where Shadow Kitty comes from. So
come on.
All right, I'm sensing a connection.
Okay, I like it.
Foley tells them that he never swore fealty to the court, which means that Saris's queenly commands don't work on him.
We'll try again. Saris tells Foley that she's an alchemist and that they need his help pretty desperately. She has no idea how to seal her runes or how to control the magic that they channel. And since Foley's grandfather, this is interesting, was the last living alchemist, they're hoping that he can help. And so right away, he does have some advice. This is my favorite advice. Please, somebody give me this advice, okay? She needs to sleep. The joy I would get, okay, if I got that from a doctor. You just need to sleep, which all the alchemists are required to do. It helps them regulate their power. So, girl, literally go to bed.
Totally agree. It also helps me regulate my power.
Right? Me too.
Flashed attitude.
Amazing. Go to bed.
She's also like, great advice. Okay, I'm just gonna go to sleep.
Right, sure.
Vampire.
Sure.
That's so easy.
This is so tough for her. Like you said, she's a vampire, and vampires don't typically sleep very well. And he tells her, though, that she can trick her body to enter a trance-like state and that she needs to practice that.
So go.
So go. But first, sleep.
Well, now we're going to cut to the details of Kingfisher's point of view chapters. So this is going to be Kingfisher and Carrion in Zilvarin here on out.
Yep. Let's do it.
All right. In Zilvarin, Kingfisher and Carrion emerge from the Quicksilver, and a whole unit of guards is waiting for them, obviously. Right. Kingfisher uses his shadows to fight them off, and poor Carrion is so confused in the kerfluffle.
The quotes were so great.
It's so great. Like the imagery of him just like, where are we? What's happening? What are we doing? Like,
What
it's
just hit
so
my
good.
arm?
I can't see. I'm
so
blind.
good.
And then the best part is when the light comes back on, Kingfisher's like, why are your eyes closed? And he's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It felt weird to keep them open if I couldn't see.
Yes. Kingfisher starts running down the hall, and Carrion follows him. And then Kingfisher picks him up and throws him out the window into the market below. And then Fisher jumps after him and ready? Fuck you, Fisher!
Yep. So good.
So funny.
My notes for this section of the chapters was literally just
It's so
after
good.
every
It's so
quote.
good.
It was so fucking
Yeah.
funny.
It's-
You, Fisher!
oh, God.
Kingfisher glamours them, his secondary magic, both to appear more human. Kingfisher mentions that normally Carrion hovers at around 7 feet tall, and Kingfisher is slightly taller than that.
Hello. Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Like,
Yes, sir.
When Carrion asks him about his magic, Kingfisher tells him, quote, I'm not Zilvarin born, Carrion. My magic isn't of this place. I can't draw from it as freely as I would back in Evalia. We're lucky I can draw from it at all. There are realms and worlds amid the void of this universe that are entirely barren of magic. If a seed of magic didn't cling for purchase somewhere within the bowels of this miserable place, I'd be completely cut off from my gifts. I just exhausted a good portion of the magic available to me back in the hall. It'll be a while before I have full access to my magic again. I think a couple of thoughts here. I think this is here to tell us why Carrion may have never fully realized
yes.
his true magic.
Yep.
But I also think that it's a little tricky because we know from reading ahead in this book that there's actually a fuck ton of magic in Zilvarin.
Yeah.
And as we see throughout this whole stretch of chapters, he keeps using magic and keeps using magic and keeps using magic and keeps using magic and keeps using magic. And he never kind of questions, like, where am I getting all this magic from? So it's interesting that he's like, if a seed of magic didn't cling for purchase somewhere in this miserable place, well, guess what? It does. And there's a fucking deep well of it.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah. He does
Right?
mention at least still getting exhausted by it since it's not his, I guess, Evalian
Right.
born magic at the end. But I'm going to guess he probably just doesn't even realize this about Zilvarin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
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 Good point.
Yeah, it's a different type of magic that he's not used to, but the magic is still there.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. Kingfisher assumes that Carrion is leading them to Madra's treasury to steal the silver, but Carrion says, nope, we are going to Brigand's Bank, which I own. Along the way,
I love this.
Kingfisher sees him perform a few bits of small magic, noting that he shouldn't be surprised as the Dianthus line possessed more magic than any other family in Avalia.
Oof.
Obviously, they were the ruling family. It makes sense that they would be the most powerful,
Yep.
right? And I love that he's so cheeky that he calls it the Brigand's Bank. So cute.
It's
Little cheeky,
really cute.
cheeky little Carrion.
It's really cute that both Carrion and Tal are business owning. I like that. I was like, oh, you own a business. Oh, you own a business. Everyone's a businessman.
You guys are gainfully employed.
Look at you.
Well, he doesn't actually own a bank, though.
No, he doesn't.
He owns
his
a
own
whole-
little. Yeah.
He owns a stash.
He has a distribution system.
There
in
you
place.
go. It's his
He is an
own way that he
importer,
makes money.
exporter.
Okay. Listen, he's in
We don't
waste
talk about it,
management.
Lindsay.
Okay.
Waste management.
It's where
He's
I
a
get my
thief.
W-2.
Listen,
Don't ask questions.
he's over the bridge in Jersey. All right, waste management.
But I also do like the fact that this is like him seeing him perform small magic. This is kind of the beginning of Kingfisher's awakening to where he stops underestimating Carrion. He realized that we've been saying it all along. Our boy's got depth.
Yeah.
And Kingfisher's finally seeing that himself. But we get some really cool history of Zilvarin, which I think all of us really appreciated. Zilvarin was an ancient city. It had existed long before Madra ascended to the throne. A feat of engineering, it had once been the seat of a council of magic users. Laws had been passed here. There had been hanging gardens, beautiful water fountains, large enough for the city's children to play in. Where'd the water go? The history of this place was well documented in Avalia, and it had always been circular, shaped like a wheel, yes, but it was Madra who had segregated it into wards. The huge walls that divided Zilvarin and its people sank deep underground. When you wanted to build high on an unstable foundation, you had no choice but to dig deep for purchase. So we've got a lot of things to think about. One, absolute foreshadowing, bringing up that it's in that circle, that wheel,
Yep.
that cog.
Yep.
That's going to come into play later.
Yep.
Two, wow, there used to be water here. Where'd it go?
Mm-hmm.
Did all the magic use up all the water?
Right. Right. How did it go? When did it go? So interesting.
What happened to the magical seat, the council of magical users? All interesting. Let's also fast forward a bit into a conversation that Foley has with Saris. I think it's in chapter 22. He says, first, you can't eradicate magic from a city. Then he goes on to say the strongest magic is circular, shaped like a wheel. So it's all foreshadowing for that moment. And then the very, very end, when the wheel is actually used.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Listen, these circles haunt my dreams. The circles and the wheels and the
And Saris,
the
it's just a
geometry of it
circle.
all. Yeah. There's a lot of geometry in this book, and I have questions. Well, Kingfisher has a moment as he is walking with Carrion that he sees in his profile just how much that Carrion looks like his father, Rurik Dianthus. He's thrown into this memory where he is with his mom and Rurik and his mother are speaking, and she sees Rurik. And Kingfisher's mother gives him some money to go be a big boy and buy yourself one of your favorite Bettel biscuits. And I think he makes a comment too about how it's like the most money he ever had in his hand at one time to go get himself some biscuits. So what was happening in this conversation? Why were they chatting? What was going on? That's what I want to know. Even though Kingfisher is like, oh, wow, they really look alike. But I went to go get some biscuits. And I'm like, wait, what was happening? That she sent you to go get some biscuits, Kingfisher?
Yeah. I feel like anytime Adina is mentioned like that, I'm always like, but there's got to be a bigger meaning. And I don't
100%.
know what it means here, but I feel like there's got to be
Yep.
something.
Yep.
I know too here there's also, like you said, Kelly, he says that it was the most money he'd ever held in his hand, but he says something about it being like old money versus new money, like
Yeah,
because
Yep.
it
because it
had
still had
Rurik's
Ruick
face
on
on
it.
it.
Yeah.
So again,
Interesting.
don't know
Yep.
what that means, but I feel like it's important for
Yep.
sure. Carrion and Kingfisher make their way back to Callus, and Carrion tells Kingfisher that he does own the vault bank, but he had a business partner. But Carrion is assuming that when he disappeared, his business partner, Eric, had the locks change. So they go to Callus to wait for the vault breaker, who is a man named Vorath Shaw. Do we think that this Eric person is a person to make note of?
No, because he's dead in the corner once we get to Joshin.
But like
Why?
not moving forward, but like why did
Oh.
Carrion choose him to be a business partner? Like was there
okay.
any
No, he's
like
dead.
Like,
Don't think
well,
about
he's
him
dead.
anymore.
I don't care.
I don't know yet. I don't
okay.
could be, but I feel like you said earlier in the episode, so much happens in this book, but nothing happens. And I feel like
Right.
I don't know if I could bring in another person in my head at this point. Eric, you gotta stay over there, Eric. Stay in your lane. But
You're dead, Lane.
you're dead lane. I don't
Stay in your dead lane.
stay in the death lane. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
But possibly.
Also, let's remember his name is Eric, and that's a lame name. So he
It
can't
is
be
a
important.
lame name. It doesn't make sense. Well, so is Joshin, but
Josh.
I hate Joshin. I hate his name.
I know,
hate
I do
that
too.
demon name.
Vorath Shaw comes into Callus, and I would like to point out too that this is one of the theories that we got wrong, maybe wrong. We learned Vorashaw's name in the first book, and we did guess that he was a potential for being Finrin's true identity because he was one of the only names of people that was pointed out in Zilvarin, and we were like,
Oh, I
that's
remember
interesting.
when you had that thought. I had forgotten about that one.
Yep. So here he is, not
definitely
Kingfisher's father.
Yeah.
But I will say, in this moment, the reason I bring it up is I did get tricked here because he comes into Callus, he immediately turns tail and runs, and Kingfisher notes that Carrion wasn't the reason that he bolted, that he had been looking at Kingfisher, and I was like,
yeah.
Daddy! But I don't really know that ever really gets answered.
No.
Like, we know that Kingfisher still looks kind of pale and he kind of looks different, but I don't know that that's enough of an explanation to make Vorath Shaw like turn tail and run.
Yeah, because then eventually it's almost like I led you here on purpose to serve my master, but I was going to do this basically psychological, make you chase me and want me first, which seems like a really weird stretch to do.
Yeah.
Like it was all kind of odd.
It was odd.
Yeah.
Odd.
I don't know if I'm misremembering. I thought there was like something later on that explained a little bit like why he feared him, but I can't remember. So maybe when we get to it later on, when I reread it, I'll bring it up to you guys. But I don't know. I don't.
Yeah.
He's weird.
He's weird.
Put a pin in it.
I have it highlighted. I have it highlighted here because on my reread, as I was outlining, I was like, I wonder if that ever gets answered, and I highlighted it on purpose, and I never got an answer. To it.
I never got an answer either when I saw it. Now I look at it and I'm I always got the impression he probably just recognized he was Fae because I got the impression that Shaw was a magical user in a very small way and so was able to recognize that Kingfisher was not as what he appeared to be and he was different and he feared it first but then decided to make the best of it and feed him to his master. But I didn't like that explanation either.
It wasn't enough of
It
an
wasn't
explanation.
enough for me either. Yeah.
But they catch up with him quickly and convince him to lead them to Carrion's stash. And Kingfisher notes that his pulse is very calm, so he knows that something is up. Like, Vorath isn't scared as he's doing this, right? and he leads them into a passageway, and Carrion's hand gets stuck in a demon's trap.
Ugh.
Uh-oh.
Yikes. Yeah.
And Kingfisher mentions that Boreth has this like glowing green substance that looks like liquefied even light. And I want to note that when we learn much later about even light, it's a gift from the gods that light the vampire courts where nothing else can. It's actually the spirit of the gods. So if this is actually even light, it's really interesting that Vorith has it, or is it because Vorith's master is not a god, but he's a demon from potentially one of those gods, and his name is a name I absolutely hate, Joshin. Lord of the Desert, King of the Dark Dream, a demon. And he is made of thousands of scorpions that immediately start stinging them in absolute nightmare fuel.
Yes.
Right here.
Yucky.
Yes.
Yucky.
Very yucky.
Yucky.
Super yuck.
Well, our Adina to the rescue indirectly. Kingfisher remembers that when he was younger, his mother made him read books of old monsters, orkling at its finest. So he knows how to fight Joshin with light. And luckily, we are in a land with 2 suns and no darkness.
Yep.
Also, side note, Kingfisher randomly decides to start cursing in Old Fae. I think it was because he thought a demon would not know Old Fae, because then he makes a point of then talking to Carrion in their common tongue and Joshin also responding, and he's like, fuck, he knows common Fae as well. But it was just like really weird. It's like, okay, I guess we're going to just start saying Old Fae words now. I wasn't expecting this.
I thought it was just like kind of slipping out of him.
Like his cursing, almost like in Old Fae it comes out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like he wasn't. It's like I'm an original Spanish speaker,
Right.
but I speak English now. So I'm when I curse and I'm high in my emotion, that's what's going to come out.
That's
kind of thing.
natural.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Which would make sense. I think he makes a reference maybe to Saris later on that Old Fae is way more descriptive than common Fae. So I bet he's really
curse words.
Really cursing
right
out.
now.
Love to know what he's saying here.
Well, we get a really weird thing that happens. Kingfisher wraps his fist in his shadows and he starts punching the wall. That's not the weird bit. Remember, he doesn't have access to his full magic here in Zul'Varan, but something odd does happen. We get a quote, "A ripple of shadows fanned out over the stone and an answering ripple of energy chased after it. I frowned at the sight, not trusting what I was seeing. Why was my magic pulsing twice?" Now, I didn't get the impression that we ever really like on page got it answered, but I remember the alchemical runes and how Joshin had messed with them and maybe that was coming back on him. But what do we think is happening here?
I have a theory.
What's your theory?
Okay, so you know how I said before that this was happening at the exact same time as Saris blew the hole in Amontreath and Guru the Shadow Cat got out? What if Guru the Shadow Cat is coming through to help on this side and he's also made of shadows and the shadows are doubled? Because it's the same thing as happening. It's like literally you're opening
That's
a
cool.
portal, right? Like the door, like if you think about she burst through the wall and he think about that as being
I
a
like
portal
that.
and the cat jumps
I
through.
really like that, actually. That's really, I really like that. Because I automatically assumed it had something to do with Styx because there's a demon here.
Yeah.
That's fair assumption, Lindsay. That's a good
I
one.
I like the guru thing.
But-
I think that's really fun.
And they could connect though, because didn't we just say, but Guru is made of shadows and where do shadows come from?
Yeah.
And so like if he is a spy for Styx, like maybe we're all right. And it's about Styx.
Yeah.
And because Guru comes from Styx, and it's the shadow cat. I don't know. Maybe
Can
it's Guru.
I? Ooh, or I'm going to put in the third option. I just realized
Okay.
something. This whole place is filled with alchemical runes, right? We know Ceres has her magic runes, right? Her Tria Prima, as well as the 4 elemental runes on her, right? Malcolm saying
Mhm.
all 7 are her power. We know those are mirrored on Kingfisher as well.
Uh-huh.
So,
Her
what
alchemical runes are on him?
Yeah, it's mentioned in the next episode that they're mirrored on his hand because she makes a
Hmm.
point of saying when she seals her Quicksilver one in blue, she sees it mirrored on his in blue black. Um,
Hmm.
but to your point, Kelly, they're blowing it up at the same time. What if there's some connection
Uh-huh.
between the fact that these are mirrored on each other? You brought up earlier, right, that these things are mirror and happening oppositely. So
Uh-huh.
what if she's busted it there and he's seeing that same thing
Yeah.
for him in his realm?
We need to ask a more important question.
Uh-huh.
One of the runes that he uses is the rune break.
It
Yes.
is.
How does he know that rune when that's the rune that the Hazrax gifts Ceres later in the book that is so rare and nobody else has?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. She hasn't even gotten it yet.
And he mentioned saying he recognizes this alchemical language all around here. So Kingfisher knows the language. He recognizes the words. So
It's the
it's not
rune break.
unknown to him.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm wondering, is it these shadows? Is it their matching god rune bindings on each other that's somehow connecting them across these 2 realms?
Yeah. Ooh. What if
Oh,
it's all of these put together in some weird
It probably is. I mean,
here's
it's
the
mega
all
quote.
kind of
theory?
connected, right?
The gods only knew what other weak reasoning she came up with. I had stopped listening. He's talking about his mother talking to him here. I was dragging my finger through the blood I'd left on the wall, tracing out the lines of a very specific rune, the rune meaning break. As soon as the final line was drawn, so he's drawing it, it's
Yep.
not there.
Right.
Yep.
He's drawing it. As soon as the final line was drawn, the hallucination shook her head. Well, there you are. You've done it now. I hope you're happy. I stepped back, observing my handiwork. I am actually. The rune lit up, blazing and white. It sank into the wall, its lines forming deep grooves in the stone. The magic that shielded the wall stretched thin, a veil of shadows shivered over the stonework. Strange, since I hadn't even reached for my magic, and watched and felt the ward that protected the demon's trap splinter and come apart. And
Mhm.
then the demon's response is the dark door is undone.
Mhm.
Interesting. Ugh.
And the Hazrax specifically says there how special that rune is, that it's not a power per se, that it's something more. Like, so there's no way that that's just a rune that can be drawn, but yet Kingfisher draws it.
Mm.
There's
They're just
got to be
there's just
something
this
more to that.
connection between the 2 of them.
100%.
Yeah. And again, and it's the timeline thing that doesn't make sense. Like, it would be one thing if she already had that, but she
Right.
doesn't get that rune from the Hazrax until much, much later in the book.
Yeah.
So,
He knows something.
Mm.
Ooh.
Well, so he's blown a big hole in the tower. But unfortunately, we find out one of Joshin's monikers is King of the Dark Dream, and we learn why because Kingfisher has a dream of his dead mother, and she's not very nice. Uh, but an interesting little side note, what she's wearing is her favorite dress, which has birds embroidered in the skirt, kingfishers with metallic blue wings. And aren't kingfishers the same bird as Sarah's first tattoo as well that she ever got?
And it's his name.
Interesting. And it's his nickname.
His name to the world. Well, at first, Adina is sweet, but she quickly changes and begins to taunt him. Kingfisher can see right through the illusion, and he continues his work on breaking down the walls. He knows this is not the mother that he knew. He uses the rune for break, and at first, Joshin is elated because he thinks he can use the tunnels and feast on the city. But Kingfisher turns, he slams his fist into the wall one last time, and the light of the twin suns melts Joshin into a slimy scorpion puddle. Disgusting.
Yum.
Disgusting.
What's
Meanwhile,
worse? What's worse, Kelly? Would you rather the scorpion puddle or would you rather the thousands of
no,
scorpions?
puddle.
Puddle for sure.
Puddle.
For sure.
Puddle plus one, yes.
Yeah.
Well, meanwhile, this whole time, Carrion is fighting Varathshaw, gets him into a headlock, and snaps his neck. You go, Carrion. He got him.
That's right. Carrion wants to kill the demon, but Kingfisher knows better. They have been stung, and they need its venom to make an antidote, but there is a catch. The venom must be freely given. They can't just take it. So they say, 2 droplets of your blood and a secret, and we will spare your life. So it agrees. Kingfisher takes one of the scorpions and sticks it in a box, sealing his side of the bargain because that will technically keep the demon alive. As long as one scorpion lives, the demon will be able to live on, but it will take it lifetimes to regenerate. And Kingfisher says, yep, that's not my problem.
Too bad. Should have read the fine print.
Sorry about you.
Can you imagine a little voice from the box? Fuck you, Fisher.
Yeah.
Fuck you,
Fuck you, Fisher. I mean, listen, Joshin, I feel like you should have thought about that, though.
Yeah. Did we spend so much time in Quicksilver with Kingfisher teaching Saris you've got to be careful about the exact deals and the
about your
language that
bargains.
you make? And now he's like, and look, here's how I can use it against other people.
Yes. I mean, I guess in Joshin's defense, he probably hasn't made a bargain in a really long time.
True.
So he's probably a little rusty,
Yeah.
but come on.
And
to
he
suck,
was
though.
melting at the time.
And he was
Yeah.
melting in a puddle.
Of scorpions.
A scorpion puddle. Kingfisher asks for his secret, and this is what the demon gives him. Quote, "Where there is light, there is always darkness, Shadow Weaver. To kill a queen, you will need to visit the darkest of all places. You will need to strike a deal far more costly than this one if you hope to succeed. And the beast who lies in wait for you there will not be so easy to trick as me. She will eat you whole, Shadow Weaver. She will tear away your soul and feed on it for decades." Okay.
Ooh.
I know. So let's discuss. We know of 2 queens currently, Madra and Saris. To kill a queen,
Yeah.
what do we think here?
Well, Lycia technically has a queen too. Just gonna
But-
point that one out.
I mean, I don't think we're talking about Lycia.
No, don't disagree. Just covering bases. The other queen, I had to wonder. I know the second half of this quote is absolutely meant to talk about Arisan the dragon, right? The mother of Anam Shakrai, right? That massive dragon they meet in what's the word?
Right. I'm just
The
asking about the
access.
queens. Yeah.
No.
The queens.
I wondered if that could have also been like a reference to her as a dragon queen almost. Like, since the second half of this quote is definitely referencing her, I wonder if they were saying a queen, the dragon queen almost.
I went right to Madra, I'll be honest.
I think it's a stretch. I think we're either talking about Madra or Saris.
Yeah, I think Kingfisher wants it to be
Yeah.
Madra, but I think it's also like, but BTW, Saris is also a queen, and so be careful because these
Yeah.
things could kill a queen too. Could kill her.
So it's basically the queen, Madra,
yeah.
and the beast. 2 separate entities, essentially.
Yeah, I think when you talk about prophecies, it's very much like this and this and this and this and this and this. And so I think we're talking about when there's light, there's always darkness. To kill a queen, you will visit the darkest places. You will need to strike a deal. The beast who lies in wait.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think it's all
Next and
different.
next. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't connect
You're gonna have
those
to go
things
to a dark
together.
place. There's gonna be a beast there. You're gonna have to make
Mhm.
a deal with that beast, and that's how you're gonna kill the queen. The beast
Mhm.
is
Yes.
not the queen. So that's what
Yeah.
So you're
but
gonna suffer,
yep.
but you're gonna like
And
it.
who knows? And the beast they could be talking about the dragons. I'm not saying it's not the dragons, but I think the queen that they're talking about is Madra, but it's also
Yeah.
connecting to, oh, wait a minute, but Sarah's also a queen.
But the
Yep.
interesting thing is here, the beast who lies in wait for you will not be so easy to trick as me, but she was. If we are talking about Arisen here,
Ah, true.
she was. So is it potential
was.
that that's not who we're
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about
Oh, for sure.
because she wasn't? You know what I
No,
mean?
100%. It could
So is there something else?
bigger
Yeah.
monster. What if it's the
Right.
source? What if
Yeah.
it's like what if we're talking about
Yeah.
the big bad?
She will tear away your soul and feed on it for decades. Like
Ugh.
that's not what
No,
happened.
that's not what happened. No,
No,
you're
but
right.
then also he talks about how I've been practicing for a long time. So maybe everybody underestimated Fisher in that too.
Yeah. But I think that when you look at this, we're assuming that the other things are going to be true because of the strike a deal thing,
Yeah.
Yep.
right? I think because we know that the strike a deal is going to be more costly than this one if you hope to succeed, we assume that that's true. So it's safe to assume that the other things are true,
Yeah.
right?
I would agree.
Like,
Yeah. Also, he's
so
telling her a secret. So I feel like if you're telling me a secret and he's supposed to have to tell the truth, this has to all be true because otherwise this is not a very good secret.
And the bargain wouldn't I think the magic
Right.
wouldn't let the bargain work. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know.
I also would have appreciated a really less vague secret, if I'm going to be honest.
I don't
Yeah.
find
Is
it
this
that
a
vague.
secret or is this?
I know that's what I mean. Like it didn't seem like a secret. Like
It's more of a prophecy
Yeah.
yeah,
than a
I wanted
secret.
some
And
tea.
destruction. And it's instructions. It's like, hey, here's but yeah.
Right.
But if nobody knows that this is how you need to kill the queen, then it's a secret, but we don't know what they know that they know. We know they know.
And Kingfisher's like, dude, I already know this. This is not a
Right.
secret.
Yeah.
While Kingfisher also mentions something in this chapter that is important, quote, I had no control over fire. It wasn't my element to command. A part of me suspected it might be Carrion's, but he was in no fit state to try conjuring unknown magic. There would be time for this later. And in this whole chapter, it's just out of left field. I felt all of a sudden that he got this impression from Carrion that he has fire magic. I mean, I at one point he tells Carrion to use fire, and Carrion's like, "What? What are you talking about?" There's even a foreshadowing moment at the very beginning of this chapter when they first entered Zulvaran, and he noted Swift appeared in my field of view, his auburn hair blacklit and glowing like sunset on fire. Did you guys get fire from Carrion in book 1 that you can recollect? Because this was left field for me.
No.
No, and then also paired with Tal earlier saying, obviously, Saris, you have elemental fire. I'm like, where's all this fire coming
Yeah.
from?
That one I was less worried about because Malcolm pointed that one out when he like read the 7 runes on
Yeah.
her fingers. But yes, you're right. Why does everybody have
Oh,
fire
all
power?
of a sudden, there's
all
a
of
lot of
sudden?
fire. Yeah.
Everyone's got fire. You've got fire. You've got fire.
Again, is this another clue of something in a timeline potentially?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Like that he
Maybe.
has seen something happening because this, like you said, is really out of left field.
Yeah.
So has he seen something else happening that we haven't seen on page?
That's true.
That's fair. That's a fair
That's a
comment.
stretch.
Yeah.
But possible.
Yeah.
When time doesn't matter, anything's possible.
Anything's
Right.
possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he does talk about this fire magic a good bit in this chapter. And he also randomly wonders if Carrion can see in the dark. And I thought that was weird for him to wonder, because I'm like, can't all Fae see in the dark?
He says they can't.
But he's having all these weird wonderings all of a sudden about Carrion's power. And all of it was
Yeah.
weird. Maybe Ruick
Mhm.
was known for fire, you know? He mentions the Dianthus line possessed more magic than any other house in Avalia. So, maybe there's something there.
Yep.
But let's keep an eye out and monitor Carrion for fire.
For fire. Are you on fire? You hot, but are you on fire?
I mean, it would match his hair.
It would. Kingfisher and Carrion make their way back to Shaw's shop. And when they go in, they notice that it is an absolute disaster and there is a really strange smell to it. What is this strange smell and who messed up the shop? Do we ever find out?
What
I don't
the
think
fuck?
so.
No, why?
I know.
Why
I
does
kept
it smell?
waiting. I kept waiting for an answer. I'm like,
What happened?
what
What
happened?
Right. No clue.
Nope.
Was there any weird smell in Saris's timeline? If things maybe are mirroring each other? Did she bring up anything about
I
smell?
don't remember anything about
I don't-
smells.
I don't think she would have been in a situation with a smell.
Not in the library. No?
Nope.
Well, Kingfisher starts to work on the antidote, and both of them continue to see ghosts of their loved ones. Kingfisher sees both his mother and Morel. We get an interesting quote from his mother. "You're just like your father, aren't you, darling? Always too late." Remember, in our last episode, we pointed out that Kingfisher's father is never named in this book to be either Finrin or Styx. And this is another example of that, even in this awful, nightmarish wake from the demon.
Yeah.
It's still
Always too late. What
always
does
too
that
late, right?
mean?
What does that mean? We get another quote. "Whatever phantoms were haunting Carrion, he chose not to share, and I chose not to pry. A male's ghosts were his own business, and I was having enough problems with my own." I'm dying to know. I want this as a bonus scene so bad.
Yeah. Have you read the Carrion bonus chapter?
I have not yet.
Okay.
Okay.
You need to go read the Carrion bonus chapter because I feel like you would know.
I will know. Okay.
Because Catherine, you've read it, right? Is that your assumption
That's
that's
what I'm
what
saying.
he's saying? Okay.
I
yeah.
have not read it
Yes.
yet. Okay. I will read
Yes.
that tonight.
I think that will be answered for you.
So I cannot wait.
You might cry.
Oh, God. Great.
No, you will.
I
cry.
definitely will cry.
You-
Great.
You will cry for sure.
You will cry. Well, they take the antidote and I did crispy teas.
Antidote.
They take the antidote and immediately begin seizing, and all of their bones break. And they go through this on a cycle for hours and hours and hours. This is the worst antidote that I've ever
Awful.
heard of. It's not usually it's like you drink it and you're like, immediate relief. No, this is you're going to suffer and you're not going to like it. And then eventually you'll like it. to quote
terrible.
Catherine quoting Harry Potter.
But it's a great bonding experience.
Quoting
for
Ron
both of
Weasley.
them.
Quoting Ron Weasley. That's true. Quoting Ron Weasley.
Once they are finally able to walk again, hours later, they go to Carrion's apartment, and Carrion pours them a drink and points out to Kingfisher that Saris is the one that made the glass that he is drinking out of. And then the famous
Ugh.
line that Callie Hart teased us with
Yep.
that drove Kelly personally
crazy.
insane.
And I was wrong.
For at least 24 hours.
I admit it. I was wrong.
Mhm.
And it is the first thing that
All
we
right.
did when we got access to the book at midnight is we
Quite
went
literally.
and found
Yes.
it. Yes.
You are welcome that I bought the Kindle and immediately was like, this is what we are looking
We are
up
searching
first and getting this
immediately.
answered right now.
Yep.
Yep.
So, are you in love with her? No. Yes.
Yeah.
It's not a simple thing, Fisher. She's, well, spectacular. And then he continues, and there is so much power in this conversation.
Yeah.
Carrion tells Kingfisher, I could have loved her truly, but this place broke me centuries before Saris was born. I made the mistake of letting myself fall for a human once, and believe me when I say that once was enough. So yes, I love Saris Fane because she's electric and fierce and loyal, and being around her brings the world back into focus. But I'm not in love with her, Fisher. I tried, but my heart was just too full of sorrow to make room for her.
Ugh.
So he tells Kingfisher that he was in love with a human once,
Yeah.
which, Kelly, go read the bonus
I will.
chapter. All of this will make sense to you.
Yeah. Which is so dumb because I literally bought Catherine
Yes,
the book
she did.
that's on her bookshelf with this bonus chapter in it.
Yes.
And took pictures of it and
Yes.
uploaded it so I could read it.
Kelly was at Target
Yes.
and Catherine said, hey, while you're at Target, can you buy me that book?
And it was one left and I bought it for her and I
Mhm.
didn't read it yet.
Okay. Carrion then asks Kingfisher to teach him how to shut off the pain, and Kingfisher tells him no, that he has to suffer through it, that it will only make him stronger. And this is really the beginning of friendship
Yes.
for Carrion and Kingfisher. He no longer sees him as a threat here,
It was
right?
And more
beautiful.
importantly, they are now BFFs.
I love it.
And it's beautiful.
I don't know if I would go that far, but
In Catherine's dreams,
we're
they are.
getting
Okay.
we're getting friendlier.
Yes.
He doesn't want to murder him.
Right. And there is a
No.
level of understanding.
Yes,
And-
there's a
and
level of
honestly-
understanding.
Honestly, I can't wait until Hayden is introduced because I feel like Kingfisher gave the vibe of, fuck, I can't rag on Carrion anymore. He's my bud. So now I gotta pass the torch on to somebody else.
Right. Right. This idiot. Well, that is a wrap on episode 2 of Brimstone by Callie Hart. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Remember to like, subscribe, and rate our podcast wherever it is you are listening. It helps us find more feral, unhinged fantasy readers like you. Next time, we will be covering chapters 20 through 29, so be sure to tune in for the next Fantasy Friday. Happy reading! Bye!
Bye.